The chalk didn't just scratch against the blackboard, it striked. Professor Aris Thorne stood at the front of the lecture hall, his tweed jacket smelling of stale tobacco and expensive ego. He saw mathematics not as the language of the universe, but as a gate to keep the unworthy out. "This," Vance said, pointing to a sprawling web of symbols, "is the Lackland conjecture. For 2 centuries, it has sat in the graveyard of ambitions. Fields medalists have retired because of it." He turned his gaze toward the back row, landing on 17-year-old Elias Thorne. He was there on a poverty grant, a fact Vance never let him forget. "Mr. Thorne," Vance sneered, his voice dripping with mock empathy, "you've been staring at your shoes all morning. Perhaps the floorboards hold the secrets to the conjecture. Or is the weight of actual thoughts simply too heavy for your ... Pedigree?" The class chuckled. A cruel sound. "I was just thinking, sir," Elias said softly, his voice steady, "that the third derivative in your opening premise seems to assume a symmetry that the problem specifically denies." The room went silent. Vance's face turned a shade of bruised purple. "You dare lecture me on premise?" Vance laughed, a dry, hacking sound. "This problem is a wall of obsidian. You are a pebble. Tell you what, Thorne, since you're such a visionary, why don't you step up? Solve. Italiano. But when you fail and you will you, pack your bags and leave St. Jude's." "You can't solve this," Vance shouted as Elias walked toward the board, the laughter of the class following him like a shadow. But Elias didn't hear them. He didn't go to the cafeteria or his dorm. He went to the basement of the old library, where the radiators hissed like dying dragons. The Lackland conjecture was deceptive. It dealt with the distribution of zeros in a multidimensional space. For 200 years, the world's greatest minds had tried to force it into a grid, to make it behave. Elias stared at the numbers until they blurred. He remembered his mother, a seamstress, who once told him, "Everything has a tension point, Elias find a thread. And the whole thing unravels." He closed his eyes. He stopped seeing the numbers as symbols and began to see them as waves. If the conjecture was a wall, he wouldn't try to climb it. He would see how the wind moved around it. He began to apply fluid dynamics to prime number distribution, a radical, almost heretical move in the world of pure math. Hours turned into a day, then 2. He was no longer a pebble hitting a wall. He was the tide, finding the cracks. And as the sun rose on Monday morning, the wall of obsidian began to crumble. Thanks for watching.